Hello and welcome back to another episode of Will You Survive, the podcast. Today we're going to go over some really funny things, but first introductions. I'm Alex.
Hello, I'm Erik.
And we're going to go over Shaun of the Dead today. Probably one of my favorite zombie movies.
I haven't seen that one in a really long time. It was nice to see it again. It was funny.
It is probably one of the best descriptions of, I'd say, the complacency of humans. Everybody seems rather zombified before they were even zombies.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
You see them all riding in the bus, kind of bobbing along as the bus is moving, really no kind of will, if you will. I thought it was a really funny movie. I like those two guys.
Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Simon Pegg just cracks me up as he's sitting there staring ahead right as the movie opens, already looking like a zombie. And
oh yeah, they kind of bait you with that when he yawns in the morning and he's shambling and you're like, what is going on? Is he already a zombie? And then of course, and then he's just waking up. But I'm like that in the mornings too, so not one to judge.
And also his morning routine, you watch him go out of the house, go down the street.
Well, first he just sat down and started playing games.
Well, that's true. And then Nick Frost, who is Ed.
Don't you have work?
He forgot he even had to go to work. And he signs back out of the game, gets up, and he shambles down the street, and he's tripping on the curb. I actually like a couple of things they do in the movie. They foreshadow what is going to happen.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The little kid kicks him with a soccer ball, and he turns back and looks and says, "You're dead." And next time you see the kid, he's a zombie.
Yeah, he did that again later on, or somebody. Oh, it was Nick Frost. It was Ed who said that about. I think it was Pete.
That's right. Next time I see you, you're dead.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, same thing, same foreshadow twice in a row. It was it's very creative because if you haven't seen the movie before, you see. I honestly, the first time around, I don't know if you would even really notice it. It's kind of it's not super subtle, but if you're not really paying attention, you probably won't even notice that because those are just "you're dead," or just really quick lines. They kind of just seem like filler lines, but then they actually foreshadow what ends up happening. Which I mean, I guess you could probably gather considering it's a zombie movie, but
and the whole thing at the beginning, it's all foreshadowing. You notice he's walking into the he's walking into the convenience store, and the papers are all talking about a crash landed space. I think it was a probe.
I didn't even notice that.
There was a headline of mutilated. That's all you saw.
Oh, I did see that.
And then he goes to work, and the forecast there is there's so many people out sick. It's like, oh, the manager's sick. The next person in line is sick. The next person in line is sick. So Simon Pegg's character, Shaun, has to be the guy in charge.
So since I'm the most experienced, you mean oldest?
With no purpose in his life. That's the whole theme of Shaun's character is
a 29-year-old working at an electronics store.
Yep. Kind of like a Radio Shack of the old days. I don't know if anybody remembers Radio Shack.
You know what's funny? In Dawn of the Dead, I wonder if they did this on purpose. Oh my, no, they definitely did. This was definitely a Dawn of the Dead reference, and I just got it. He was selling TVs. Who else was selling TVs in Dawn of the Dead? The same guy who led the team.
That was Michael.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm just now realizing that. That's funny.
I wonder if that was intentional. That would be fantastic.
I think so, because Shaun of the Dead, it did come out before, same year as Dawn of the Dead.
2004,
But they must have been filming around the same time, so they couldn't have possibly gotten the idea from that. But they probably got it from George Romero's.
Well, George Romero's, the protagonist was actually in the news industry. He wasn't a salesperson.
Funny coincidence then?
Perhaps.
That's pretty funny.
But it was, just a nobody doing nothing with his life, going nowhere, And
damn, zombie movies really dissing on TV salesmen. What the F, man? What did they do to you?
But I mean, are they really dissing on them? Because they're like,
I mean, that is true. They're like, hey, they suck. Just kidding. They're actually the best thing in a zombie apocalypse.
like, don't worry about it. You know,
TV salesman, your time's coming. Don't worry.
The
It's
people
coming.
that you think least likely, but it's not just TV salesmen. It's according to The Walking Dead, pizza delivery guys.
Oh yeah, because Glenn was just super agile. He was like a little ninja.
He could get in and out of spaces. He knew where to go. And it was probably, I mean, if you think about it, being a pizza delivery guy in a city like Atlanta, he probably knew all of the shortcuts. He knew all of the alleys. He knew all of the places that he could get in and out quickly. And I used to deliver pizzas back in the day, so I think I was in the suburbs, so it was a lot less stressful than a main city would be. Shaun's character but it's not just that he's a nobody. It's pointing out that he's a nobody.
Oh yeah, because his whole life is kind of falling apart. His girlfriend is saying he's a nobody. He kind of knows it, and he kind of feels it, and everybody's starting to point it out, except Ed. But that's just because Ed was also a nobody.
Ed was, and that comes out later, but we'll save that. When he's going through his whole sales pitch, you gotta love the directing there. When he goes through his sales pitch with the customers in his TV shop.
Oh yeah, so monotone.
And he's flipping through the channels.
Oh yeah.
And every single channel, it like the next one finishes the sentence of the one before.
Yeah, I did notice that. I was kind of wondering when I saw that. I was wondering to myself if I would even notice that, because that's not something you would really. That's not. I barely even noticed it in the movie because it was just going by, and it wasn't until they strung together the sentence about like mutilated bodies and stuff like that.
The victims are, and then it cuts to the next scene, which is a Discovery Channel, and it's animals ripping each other apart. It's literally being eaten alive.
Oh, yeah, oh my God. It felt like a Bumblebee situation.
And so I like that, and it gets you all intense, and you're right up in there, and then all of a sudden I think it tries to give you a jump scare. I don't know how many people actually jumped at it, but they break him because he's starting to zone in on the TV. He's starting to notice that that's what they're talking about, and he's getting up in there, and he's starting to lose his train of thought. You hear him slowing down. He's not quite keeping the same pace of his sales pitch, and then the phone rings. Shaun, I'm with a customer, and happened to be his girlfriend, who was trying to get him to do something new this one time, and wanting him to go to a nice restaurant instead of the same pub that they visit every single day of their life.
The Winchester?
The Winchester. I guess what we'll do is nothing really zombie-esque happens until after Shaun and his girlfriend break up.
Yeah, it's a lot of setup. The beginning, it's a lot of foreshadowing. And, you know, obviously once it happens, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that kind of all makes sense. I think the funniest thing is that when the apocalypse is happening, when it happens overnight, he goes all the way to the store, buys something, and walks all the way back home without noticing at all that the world around him was in complete shambles.
And you know, the part that I laugh at every single time in that is when he goes to the cooler to get his soda,
and he bloody
slips.
Handprints. He slips
on blood on the floor. You could tell he's slipping, and he goes up to the front. There are no newspapers. He leaves the money on the counter and walks out because there's nobody there. The one thing that happened right before that, before he even entered the store, that was a clear indicator was you saw a zombie. He didn't. He was just shambling along just like normal, tripped over the same curb he trips over every morning, and see there's zombies around. A person runs by him, a healthy person runs by him trying to get away from something clearly, and he's not paying attention to a thing.
No, not at all. He's just going about his normal morning routine.
And it actually started the night before.
Yeah, you saw it when they left the Winchester and the couple that had been making out.
In the Winchester. Do you remember the scene? While they were in the Winchester, they did a lockdown and somebody came to the window and pounded on the door. And they were like, sorry, we're closed. And you just heard the, he's drunk.
Yeah. And then when they left the Winchester, that couple that was making out one of them was now eating the other.
Yeah.
And
they weren't making out anymore.
Oh, oh my God. Okay. I love the humor of this movie because it's very, I don't know. It's British, right?
Yeah.
It's British humor. I don't know how to describe it. I think it's really funny, but it's a kind of funny where I could go the whole movie without actually laughing out loud. And then at the end of it, just be like, that was funny.
I know exactly what you mean.
Same thing as what we do with In the Shadows.
Yeah.
Like I rarely laugh out loud in that show. But there's so many funny moments that I'm just laughing on the inside the whole time.
I think technically speaking, that's what you call dry humor.
It is very dry humor, but it's that humor that you're just like, wow. I can't believe that made me laugh.
Like, I absolutely love their scene with, it's a song you might not know.
Yeah, with a zombie.
It's a song called White Lines. And they are trying to get this guy, they think it's just some dude on the street, trying to get him to sing along with them. Well, it's a zombie who's moaning. And afterward, they're like, what a tosser. He didn't even say the lines. He could have said white. He could have said line. Could have said freeze or bass. And so they shamble on home unawares of anything.
Completely, totally wasted.
Absolutely wasted. Now they're at home and they're having a freaking absolute bash. I mean, they're scratching and mixing on the turntables
at 4 in the morning.
4 in the morning. And didn't even know what day it was. Did you catch that line?
No.
When Pete came downstairs and he's yelling at him, oh, what's wrong with you? It's Saturday. He goes, no, it's not. It's Sunday. And he was all pissed off because he wasn't feeling well. He got bit.
Yeah, he even said he got bit by some crazy guy on the way home.
Has a splitting headache.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got such a kick out of all of these things that up to this point, it was nothing more than luck that got them through it. But the main difference with Shaun of the Dead is, much like The Walking Dead, these are not running zombies, as I like to say, fictional zombies.
Yes, we talked about this, saying that Shaun of the Dead is probably the most accurate depiction of what a zombie would be like. It's the mentality, not mentality, it's the, what do you call it? It's the characteristic that zombies are not single creatures. Like they're not dangerous when there's just one. Right. Obviously a zombie is dangerous no matter what, but it's a lot less dangerous when it's just one, because you see Shaun literally bump into the homeless zombie.
Yep.
And he's like, no, sorry, I don't have any money. I couldn't even afford this. So you see that by themselves, they're not that big of a threat.
Yeah.
But it's when they are in hordes or in herds, that's when they're a problem. And that's more of what a zombie was kind of originally based as. And then there was movies like Dawn of the Dead that kind of brought in the what if they sprint.
World War Z.
Yeah.
Train to Busan.
Yeah, I liked what Train to Busan did. We'll talk about it later, but I like the whole out of sight, out of mind thing. I think that's a cool concept.
Yeah. The other thing with that I absolutely love about Shaun of the Dead is that is the kind of mentality that I'm bringing with this podcast. Is when society breaks down, there can be any number of quote unquote zombies. People that just lose their minds from hunger, from what frightens me most is from lack of basic comforts like your cell phone, like your computer. And when those people lose their minds, you will see a de-evolution into mob mentality. They will rally around a single leader who may share the same emotions as them. And they won't be governing off of ration, logic, reasoning. They're going to be going purely off of emotion and a lot of fear. It's going to be based on a lot of fear. And what I like about Shaun of the Dead is when you watch the opening credits, you see that's what they're telling you straight from the beginning, is that all of these people who you're watching, including Shaun, they're all zombies.
Yeah, and this was 2004 saying that, and it's only gotten worse today.
They're all just going about their mundane life, not trying to do anything more. That was Shaun's problem. Shaun, even when he was confronted with a younger coworker who was a little disrespectful, a little carefree.
He was a bit of a dick.
Just, answered his phone during the middle of a
no
work
respect
meeting.
None at all. Didn't care.
And, Shaun tells him, I have plans. I want to do something when I get out of here. He's like, when? It was a valid question. He's already 29 years old. What is he going to do? When is he going to do it? And then you look at, as I said, the opening credits. It wasn't just him. You had people who were checking out. They're doing the cashiers, I guess, at the grocery stores.
You see the cashier, and she actually is the first zombie that they encounter.
Yeah.
Well, that they really encounter.
Yeah. The girl in the garden.
Yep.
Mary.
Oh, that was her name. Yeah.
Mary. And their basic, as I said, their mundane life is really no different than that of a zombie's.
Only different, yeah, they eat people.
I mean, very, very little difference. They just shamble around and carry on doing the bare minimum.
Yep.
And I really love the depiction because you see yourself going down that road. You see yourself giving up, and you have no motivation, and you have no drive, and you have no desire for more, and you don't want to do anything. You don't want to, maybe it's because you don't want to fail, but whatever it is, you got to break that, because you will become the walking embodiment of a zombie. You just go through the motions. You just do what you have to do daily. You don't go for more. You don't strive for more. You don't push yourself. You don't challenge yourself. There is no end game or goal. There is nothing to reach for, even if you miss. And without that, you have nothing motivating you, and you're going to become exactly that.
Yeah, in the famous words of Shia LaBeouf, just do it.
I think that was supposed to be Nike.
Nah, that was Shia LaBeouf. You can't tell me that was not Shia LaBeouf.
The Transformers guy.
Look, I will say Nike had the slogan, just do it. And everybody knew the slogan, just do it. But let's be honest, nobody really knew it until Shia LaBeouf said, just do it.
I'm pretty sure we all knew it.
No, now? Ooh.
Us older people knew it.
No, you hear just do it, and you don't think of Nike anymore. You think Shia LaBeouf.
I don't know. I haven't really thought of him since he was in the Sia video.
You've seen that video, right?
Yeah.
No, the Just Do It one?
Oh, no.
What? Okay, so you have no idea what I'm talking about.
No. I just never really cared for the guy.
Well,
I liked him in Transformers.
There's a really funny video where he's in front of this green, sorry, it's funny just to think about. He just walks in front of this green screen, and I'm sure most of our audience will know, but he just goes, just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it. And it's the greatest video ever. It's amazing.
Oh, boy.
Shia LaBeouf. What a man. He got arrested somewhere. I can't remember for what. I think he was just being drunk in public, but it was a dark time for him.
Oh, boy.
Anyways, he's not even in this movie. Moving on.
Back to Simon Pegg. I crack up at the movie because they take every risk that every single zombie genre movie tells you not to take, which is leave your house, go and get your loved ones, and then go to a pub.
I love Ed. Fuck the man.
Fuck the man. Hey, but the man said, fuck the man.
Do you listen to everything you hear on TV?
Oh, yeah. So they violate my first rule, which would be you first need to stay put until you figure out what you're dealing with.
Well, they did have a good reason for leaving. They did say that, well, the window was broken.
That is true.
And they had a zombie. Well, they didn't really know, but they kind of knew that they had a zombie upstairs. Because Pete said he had a bite.
Oh, but they didn't find that out until
they
they were
didn't
leaving.
really know, but that's also another reason why they should leave.
They would have ended up being in a lot more trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it would have only been one zombie as opposed to many.
That is true. But they still had a...
They did have a broken window, but I do think they had enough resources to have closed it back up.
Well, those two zombies were still trying to get in, right?
No, they went out and killed them.
Oh, wait. What? Oh, yeah, that's right, with the shovel and the bat.
The cricket bat.
Yeah, I think that one actually is a cricket bat.
That one is a cricket bat, not a polo bat, polo mallet. But the humor in them leaving is my take on this is he's trying to be a hero for his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend. She dumped him for once again letting her down. He was supposed to make reservations for a nice restaurant. The end of the world and the zombie apocalypse was not an excuse for her because apparently she didn't know that the world was ending either. Nothing came out until the next morning, so it just happened. And
you know what's crazy though? When he does get there to rescue them and he goes up, he climbs up this time. And the first time he said he was going to do it and then he didn't do it. Another foreshadow thing. But this time, now that they're zombies, he actually did do it. Mm-hmm. And at first, it really does seem like they have no idea anything is going on outside until, what was her name? She was the girl who was, oh my God, I'm really bad at explaining who it was. Not Liz. I think her name was Liz.
Liz was Shaun's girlfriend.
Okay, yeah, not Liz, the other girl.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I forget her name.
She was dating the nerdy guy who was in love with Liz. Yeah, David.
She kept calling him Dabs.
Let's look it up really quick. But she mentioned when he was saying like, "Oh, it's not safe here," and he was like, "Yeah, they're out there," and she was like, "Well, there was one. Now, how many are there?" Well, and he looks out and he goes, "A lot."
That was David.
Oh,
David
but
was the one who said it.
Either way, it seemed like they had no idea what was going on, and then but
Diane.
David said that. Oh man, I was gonna say Diana.
Diane. Yeah, that was
David and Diane.
That was a interesting dynamic they had going on there.
So either I'm remembering that wrong, or that might be a plot hole. They really were making it out like they had no idea what was going on outside. And then David drops that little fact of, well, there was only one. How many are there now?
Well, I think it was more not that they didn't know what was going on, but I think they were trying to give you the impression that everybody thought it was all going to blow over. And you got that idea first from Shaun, who was suggesting that they were going to go to his mom's house and then bring everybody, go over to Liz's house and wait for it all to blow over. And then they said,
Ed said he wants to be somewhere he's familiar with. So
and
they
he
decided.
Could smoke.
Yeah.
So we could come back to Shaun's house after they pick everybody up. They go back to Shaun's house and make a cup of tea and wait for it all to blow over. And he was like, well, we can't actually stay here. Look at the window's broken. Look at the state of this place. Okay. So then they come up with the Winchester.
I love how they explain their thought process to get there. I think it's really funny. They purposely do the kill Philip thing every single time.
That's not my dad.
To really nail down how much Shaun does not like Philip.
Don't forget to kill Philip. And there was a little homage to Day of the Dead when Nick Frost screamed out over the phone, "We're coming to get you, Barbara." That was a line from Day of the Dead.
Barbara was Shaun's mom.
Yep. And, they go and go through the whole plan. When they go through the whole plan, I think they're telling you that so that when you get to the apartment, you understand, again, the absolute and utter complacency of everybody. That everybody up there was like, well, yeah, there's something going on, but it's going to blow over. The man's going to come and save us. The government will come and take everything take control of everything, and it will all be fine. So just stay put.
Well, I guess they were following your rule, staying put at first.
I would totally stay put until we know what's going on. And they were on an upper level, and nobody could get in.
Yep, that's why I think it'd be a lot better, because I was kind of thinking about that. Their house was very insecure. They had a lot of windows and just way too many access points on the first floor.
Yep.
If you're in like an apartment or something like that and you're not on the first
like
floor,
us.
It doesn't even matter if you have windows.
Right.
I mean, unless they're World War Z ant climbing.
Yep.
But
all the bottom floor of their place looked like it was brick.
Mm-hmm.
So they, I mean, unless they
had the front door that was glass, but there was already zombies in the stairwell.
Yeah.
So they would either have to clear it or just climb like Shaun did.
And that's my actually thought for here is
we have the fire escape.
We use the fire ladder and go up and down. That way you can lower it down at a spot that there's not a lot of action going on, which would be one of the two sides of the building. And then
ideally,
whoever's left up can pull it back up.
Ideally, I'm hoping that we can just use the alley as a go in and go out. Obviously, we could use the fire ladder too, but I think if we were able to secure this whole complex and use that back gate as our in and out, it'd be perfect. They can't get through. It's a completely barred door, and it's barred
heavily
upwards too.
reinforced.
Yeah, it would take a lot. It would have to be like a Resident Evil. A big guy with an axe guy to break it down. Just regular zombies are not going to do that. So I think we could use that. And I think the alley is discreet enough that if we were quiet about doing it, we could get in and out real easy. It would be a lot safer than going out into the front, I think.
Yeah, it would just depend upon
if we could secure the building.
Not just the securing the building. That's true. But the alley would just depend on if any of them find it. If you lead any of them back to you, if anybody else in the building is making noise at the rear of the building and causing them to gather back there.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking, is that we could use. Well, obviously, you mentioned in the first episode making distractions.
Mm-hmm.
So we could easily do that. Have someone go all the way to the right and just make a bunch of noise over by the pool, or just have people go in the pool. And they'll all start gathering over at that other door, which goes to, I think it leads up to the pool, but it's also a barred and locked door.
Mm-hmm.
You need a key to get in, and it opens outwards, so they're not just going to break it open. And then you could sneak out, or, you could just use the fire ladder. I just feel like the fire ladder as an entrance will entirely depend upon, it would entirely depend upon somebody already being there to let it down, so we would need some sort of communication, walkie-talkies.
That's a given.
Yeah, but the alley. The good thing about the alley access is that I think you could climb that. You could easily jump up and climb that if you were being chased. You could get to safety still. But if you're not being chased, you could just have a key and just open the door.
Yeah, and I think it would. I guess the way to properly look at this is you always have to have multiple ways.
Oh yeah, it definitely there should be a lot of ways to get in and out, but all secure ways, because you don't want. This actually happened on Resident Evil. I don't remember which one it was, but it happened in a Resident Evil where they were in a prison, and the zombies tunneled their way underground. And they had no idea that even happened.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was very scary.
Was that the game or the movie?
Movie.
Oh man, I got to go back and watch that.
Yeah, we should watch all that. Well, we have a good reason to watch all the movies.
Yeah,
now,
we do.
So. We can do that.
And I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil franchise, the whole thing. I understand it a lot of people find it cheesy. Oh,
because they are cheesy. They're super cheesy. But
they're
video great
game.
Zombie movies.
They are a video game.
Exactly.
They're based on the video game. This is reliving my youth. I can't tell you. I remember playing Resident Evil 1 on the original PlayStation where Jill moved like a freaking tank. You had forward, backward, left, and right, and it was, you only had something like 10 rounds of ammunition at any one time. I think as far as our movie, Shaun of the Dead, the closest comparison in video game is Resident Evil. They were slow, lumbering zombies. They couldn't run at you.
The games, not the movie.
The games, correct.
Because the movie, they were more like Dawn of the Dead zombies.
Well, because they mutated them. By the time we got to the one where they were in Vegas, Holy moly, those things could move.
Oh yeah, no. But I'm just talking about even the first movie
when they went fast. I don't remember them being fast.
Yeah, well, remember
Except
that
for the dogs.
Oh yeah,
Holy
well, of
crap,
course, but the dogs are always fast.
Awesome.
But if you remember, there's a scene where there's a bunch of shipment containers. They're in this big warehouse type of room, and it's where they see. I think they see the Nemesis program. They see it in cryofreeze, and they're just kind of exploring around, looking around at all the containers, and then a bunch of zombies just kind of flood in. And it's this whole big fight scene where they're trying to kill these zombies. They're tripping over these gas pipes.
This is the first one?
Yeah.
I remember them being in that cryo freeze area, and then they tripped it and they all became unstable. And if I remember, where did those zombies come from?
I don't remember where they came from, but I do remember they were fast. They were not just slow well, oh shoot, maybe they weren't.
I think it was just a horde. There was just so
Yeah, maybe
many
they were
them.
slow. I don't remember. We have to watch that movie again.
Well, thankfully we're not reviewing that one today.
Yeah.
But
oh my gosh, wow, what a side tangent. Shaun of the Dead.
Do think that the Resident Evil game, specifically the first one, blocky, tank, and I think you actually come up against the final boss is the Tyrant. I think they called him the Tyrant. He had a giant claw-like arm with nothing but, it looked like bone or something, and he would swing it at you and beat the crap out of you. And
sounds like a res monster.
Other than that, all of the regular zombies that you're working your way through, if you only had one or two of them, you were going to be fine. You're going to move around, and you can move on in the games, going to the next one, Resident Evil 2, and pretty much the same thing. You were out in the open streets.
Except you had, I think it was, at least this is what the speedrunner called him. I'm pretty sure it is Mr. X, though, was the main boss. At least in the remake, that's who the main boss was.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you're wandering around in the streets, the single zombies aren't a problem. The hordes.
Yeah.
Just like in Shaun of the Dead, the hordes were the problem. Now, I did love the goofiness and silliness. We'll come back, but just cutting ahead for a split second, they pulled a trick in Shaun of the Dead of walking through the zombies to get to the Winchester.
Oh, yes.
By acting like zombies. And I loved it because it was a much, shall we say, much cleaner version of what The Walking Dead did.
Yeah.
Guts.
Yeah, The Walking Dead, they actually cut open two zombies and put the guts and the blood all over them.
All over themselves.
But I like Shaun of the Dead, where if you just act like one, it kind of goes like what Zombieland, what Bill Murray did.
Oh my
where
God,
he said
I love that.
He just rubbed blueberries on his eyes, and
I love that. And
I think he said a little bit of foundation too.
I wasn't very good at practical jokes. That was a great line.
Oh, also a great movie.
What was I thinking? What would you be thinking to play like a zombie? That's what I tell everybody. Don't play like a zombie around me. I will do my absolute best to know that you're just messing around, but I can't promise you I won't bonk you in the head or worse, stab you in the head.
Hey, you give a quick bonk tap just to make sure.
Yeah, if I hear an ow, you're okay, fine. But what I love all the way through the movie is Shaun is so desperately wanting to be the hero, and he's trying to impress his girlfriend. And as they go along, first things first, they're on their way to his mom. And we're going to save my mom. Then we're going to go to Liz's. Then we're going to go to the Winchester. And then we're going to wait it out.
Aside from going to the Winchester, I think he was pretty great as the leader role. He really did take charge. He had a plan. He executed it. Everybody followed. Yep. And that was something that they brought up later when David started causing problems, and even Diane was like, well, why don't you fucking do something then? Like, yep. You haven't done anything this whole time, and now you just want to act like you're a hero?
Yeah, and that, I think that's, we call that Monday morning quarterbacking. After someone else has done all the work, then you stop and criticize everything that they've done. You know, you did this wrong. You did this wrong. I do fully agree. Going to a pub with all of those windows all around, not a good place to go.
Even if you knew that they didn't even know this. Ed was very convinced that the shotgun behind the counter was real.
Yes, he was.
And everybody else was like, no, it's not. And then when they finally got it and shot it,
it was real.
For the last time, Ed, it's not.
Okay, but dogs can look up. And with the travel, he goes to his mom's. I love it because you see the clear tension. His stepdad comes to visit him before the whole zombie outbreak at his work. He's not happy about it. They have a very tumultuous relationship. You can tell. There's
Shaun,
tension.
your dad's here.
Yeah, he's not my dad. You can tell. Besides just him repeating constantly, "That's not my dad," you can feel the tension between them.
And the planning to kill him like 3 times in a row.
Well, that came later. But yes, that might lead you to believe that he doesn't like his stepdad. But I like how they go through the rationale. And first he's trying to convince his mom not to bring his stepdad. Because as unfortunate as it is, he already knew he was going to die. He was bit. He was going to turn. We know this. Let's just leave him here and go. Well, his mom was not going to have that. So they go. And of course, Nick Frost, Ed, was so intent on driving the Jaguar that and yes, I said it the pretentious way because we're in England with Shaun of the Dead, so it's a Jaguar. And
oh, yes.
He crashes, we'll call him their flatmate, Pete's car.
Kind of looked like a Subaru.
He crashes it. He's like, what happened? Yeah, I crashed it. You were parked. Yeah.
Guess we gotta take I forget what it was called.
Gotta take the Jag. And so they do, but before they're even able to get in the car, he's like, Philip, give me the keys. He goes, you're not driving the car. And just then they get attacked.
Oh, no, they were being attacked. They were already being attacked. And he was like, Philip, give me the keys. He's like, you're not driving this car. He's like, really? Give me the keys.
That's right. Philip got bit already. Again, a second
time.
He
got bit on the neck.
So then they get in the car and they drive away. And this is what I was talking about in the other episode. This was fantastic.
Oh my gosh, I can attest. It was a very emotional moment. I got a little teary-eyed.
So emotional because Philip starts telling Shaun, it's not easy being a dad. It's not easy. I just wanted you to have somebody you can look up to. I wanted you to have somebody who would push you and make you better than what I am. And I was hoping that it would be me. And you have this really heartfelt moment. And he passes away, and Ed is being Ed. He's steering the car into zombies and blasting music. So they finally get the music shut off, and Shaun's yelling at Ed to pull over, and he pulls over, technically speaking. The fact that he locks up the brakes and does a donut is slightly irrelevant. But then Shaun tells his mom, Philip's gone.
What are you talking about, dear? He's right back there.
He's not. Where's he gone? No, Mom, he's dead. No, he's not. He's right there.
And you look at him. He's a zombie just staring at Shaun.
They have to get out of the car. Now, there was a point that I forgot to mention that was just so damned hilarious is when they got to Liz's house. He found out that the child lock on the back seats were still engaged.
Oh, yeah. Safety first.
You can't get out. And so they all pile in this Jaguar and they don't undo the child locks and they're all in the back seat. So they're locked in with Philip. He's using the cricket bat to hold him off. And Ed's just standing there watching them. Liz is the one who lets them out.
I think Ed was mad.
And they pile out. They fall out like Keystone Cops, man. They come falling out of the car. They lock Philip in. And then the music was they were jumping out of the car. They kicked the radio back on.
Oh, yeah. This was that scene you were talking about last episode.
Blasting. And Shaun is telling his mom, that's not my dad. And she gets mad at him because he keeps saying that. And he goes, no. He was my dad. But that man is not my dad, and he's not even your husband. There is nothing left of the man that you loved in that car. And then he shuts the radio off and sighs in relief as a zombie, sighs in relief. And all Shaun can say, he looks at his mom, let's go, shall we?
Oh, man, that was such a great scene. Because you are so emotional in that moment. I was teary-eyed. I was like, wow, I did not need this right now. Like, I was just trying to watch a zombie movie. And then he's gone. Where's he gone? No, he's dead. And I was like, oh my God, no.
They kill it. They kill it intentionally with humor.
It's so funny too.
And it's such a good move that there's so much heart in that moment. And all of these guys, you kind of forget that they're all a bunch of screw ups and clowns and whatnot. And they're just people going through a traumatic event. Oh, but then of course there has to be comedic relief.
That just shows how I guess versatile is the word. I feel like I can never think of the right word the second we start recording. But it really shows how I'm gonna use the word versatile. It really shows how versatile of an actor they are.
That's the correct word.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really shows you that they could play that super emotional part.
He could be funny. He could be scared.
Yeah.
He can be angry. He can be.
He really did show
the
like
leader.
Every human emotion.
He really did
in that movie.
He really did, and which is ironic,
considering it's just this funny comedy movie, but it's a little more than that.
I'm going a different route with my irony here. Is that the character Shaun is not versatile at all.
Oh yeah, just a completely boring
He's
person.
He's a monotonously boring person. He's so predictable and just blah. But Simon Pegg is this very versatile actor in this movie that's showing it's a comedy that has a lot of heart and a lot of feel, and it's just fantastically put together, and they're all so well executed. And
even Ed plays a completely different part in the end.
Ed is fantastic.
He becomes the hero. Man, what a badass scene that was at the end. So this is after the Winchester falls, of course, because it was all glass front, and Shaun had to distract the zombies away from the window that David had broken open like a dum-dum. He did kind of have a point. They were surrounded, but seeing the way Shaun got through the zombies, it didn't seem impossible that they would be able to have made it to the back door.
Exactly.
But Shaun he led the zombies away from everybody else. He caused a distraction, and then they all went in the Winchester. Shaun met back with them, and he said he had lost the zombies, but when he went to go flip the breaker, all the zombies were at the back door.
Yeah.
So he goes back up, and he tells Liz, he goes, we have a problem. She goes, what is it? And he goes, they followed me back. And she goes, I thought you said you lost him. And he goes, yeah.
He always does that. Yeah.
So yeah, the Winchester falls. They go behind the bar, which I did want to point out. I think it's another good example of what kind of zombies they are. I think this was more plot armor. There's so much plot armor in this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
It's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
None of this would
just to back up a little
happen
bit,
ever.
When Shaun makes a break for it, there's not even a gap between a single zombie.
Oh no, he just runs through. It's like you're running through a concert crowd.
Yep.
There's no way he wouldn't have gotten
and
eaten.
Runs through, like none of them even tried to grab him.
I think it was very clearly supposed to be that way, though.
Oh yeah.
Like the director knew. There's no way.
No,
it's a comedy.
Then again, we're talking about plot armor. They walked through all of them just pretending to be zombies.
Exactly.
So, yeah, there's a lot of plot armor in this. No, I would not do a single thing that these guys did other than
gather family and friends.
And I think personally, because we have family that are out in the suburbs, that would be far easier to fortify. But I do think that in a Shaun of the Dead situation, maybe we leave the house that's been broken by the first zombies. That makes sense. Maybe we even leave the mom's house because there's no real fortification, no ability to fortify that house. It's a ground level house.
But it was gated. They could have closed those gates.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to say about that. By the time we come out of that house, though, it's already too late.
Yeah, there's too many that are past the gates.
I do think that personally, we get to Liz's apartment.
That would have been the best place to hunker down.
You're just going to have to suck it up because this is what it is.
It's the safest spot.
A couple of my favorite points, though, about them going to the Winchester is they wanted to go somewhere familiar. That was why they went there. Someplace they knew, and most important to Ed, somewhere that he could smoke.
Yep.
So they go there. All hell breaks loose.
Oh, yeah, I forgot I was talking about this.
David and Diane both die.
Yeah, David kind of got called out for being a dick and then was standing next to a window, and they broke in and pulled him out. And that was, I think, the most gruesome point of the whole movie, because you watch them rip David apart.
Yep.
And then
arms and legs come off.
Yeah, and then his legs just kind of fall off. It's a little, even silly. In his funny, even in his death, it's funny.
It is.
And then Diane, full on
holding one of his legs.
Yeah,
holding one of his legs, runs out and she's hitting a zombie with his leg. She kamikazes it out there,
which is so funny because you would think she would be mad because Shaun had just pointed out that David was in love. He was like, "Oh, just fucking date her already." He was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "You're clearly in love with Liz." He's like, "No, I'm not." And even his girlfriend goes, "Yeah, you are. Like, why don't you just accept it? Like, you only hung out with me to get to Liz, and when Liz put you on the back burner, you fell back on me. Why can't you just accept it? I did."
Yep. Harsh reality. And then she still runs out
and she's still very loyal. Stupid, but loyal.
Loyal. I guess, yeah. Sometimes loyalty and intelligence do not go together.
Yeah, this is perfect case
Not
in
in
point.
that case. But I did like the character development that goes all the way through. Now you have Shaun, Liz, and Ed.
Oh, we totally skipped over. Hang on. Shaun had to kill his own mother because she got bit, which, by the way, I noticed. I just didn't say anything about it. They're in a backyard, and Shaun realizes his mother isn't with them, and he jumps over the fence to fight off the zombie to save his mom, and he does successfully, and then she kind of just shows up around the fence holding some paper towels, and I don't know if it's because I've seen the movie before, but I really didn't remember this part. I just had this feeling. I just thought, she got bit. Why does she have those paper towels? She's covering something up. And then later on, they show that that's exactly what happened. So I don't know if it's because I already knew, but I didn't think I knew when I guessed that.
But it was kind of funny that when Shaun had to kill his own mom, the whole thing erupted by David was going to be the one to do it. He picked up the gun after first saying he's a pacifist and didn't want to shoot any of the zombies. Mm-hmm. Now he wants to shoot Shaun's mom. So I understood both sides of it. It was very emotional and tumultuous roller coaster, even though it was still comedic because both Shaun and Ed had broken glass bottles pointed at David's neck. Diane says this is hardly fair. So Ed hands her his broken glass, and then he turns around and picks up another sharp object. I think it was a corkscrew.
Not to mention, I think it was a wine bottle opener.
Yeah, corkscrew.
Okay, yeah. Not to mention that Diane only got that glass to point it at Shaun. So
right. So now they each have one, but she does die, and Shaun does. David hands Shaun the gun.
What a coward! He wanted to shoot her so bad, and then when it came down to it, Shaun's like crying, and he's like, "Here you go, then.
You do it."
What a coward!
So Shaun does. He kills his own mom, and although she's not his mom at that time.
So then David and Diane die, and now the zombies break in. And what I was getting at is that they jump behind the bar. And what I thought was interesting is that the zombies just kind of huddled around the bar, but couldn't get over it.
Right.
They couldn't get over the stomach high bar.
Yep.
And then it wasn't until he was like, they were sitting back there, and they'd poured alcohol on the countertop and lit it on fire, so another fire stopping zombies thing. And then they just come around the back and just come through the bar entrance, and he's like, "Oh, come on, give me a break." And Shaun, who couldn't hit anything to save his life, just starts shooting, and one happens to hit a bell.
he left the shells on the
Oh,
bar
yeah,
top.
that's right. He
So
left the
the
shells on the
fire-
bar top.
The fire started setting off shells, and one hits a bell, ricochets, and hits the zombie straight in the head.
You're so right. Yeah, I was going to say it didn't sound familiar as I was saying it. But then they realize they got to get out of there, so they go
And
down
by the way,
cellar.
Ed got bit by this point.
Oh,
so
yes, he'd
he's
been bit
shredded.
twice.
Yeah.
He got
his
bit.
arm was ripped up, and his neck was ripped up.
Yep.
And
By Pete.
By Pete. So then they go, Pete.
Fucking
And that was a funny moment too. Shaun yells out, "Pete, I told you to leave him alone," and shoots him in the head.
Nails him right in the head. That was the farthest distance he was too. He couldn't hit anything 2 feet in front of him, and he hit Pete from like 10 feet away.
So then they make their escape down into the basement, which was just lucky. Here's some more plot armor. They hide behind the bar, and then they happen to find a trap door beneath the bar, and they go down into the basement. Ed makes it down with them. He's beat up. He's just kind of suffering.
Gushing blood. He knows he's done.
And they start going over the plan. What are we going to do? And they come to one conclusion is, well, maybe we should, how many bullets do we have? Well, just 2. Maybe one of us should do the other and then do themselves. It's like, well, I can't do it. You do it. Ed sits there. And,
I don't mind being eaten.
I don't mind. I love the line. I don't mind being eaten. And then they start talking and getting all gushy.
I love the banter between Liz and Shaun. Oh, well, you better do that. I don't think I could stomach it. Oh.
No.
Whew. No.
I don't know if it sits well with me that I'd kill my flatmate, my mom, and my girlfriend all on the same day. Who says I've taken you back then?
Ooh, big burn.
And then you have Ed sitting over. Okay, I take it back. I want to die. as they're gushing over each other. And then right as they go to have their final cigarette, which was ironic because she was pissed that Shaun never quit smoking. He threw the cigarette pack out in her flat,
and she grabbed
took it.
Okay, but to be fair, zombie apocalypse, we
End
did
of the world.
say you should stock up on tobacco.
That's right.
So
She just listened. She must have listened to this podcast.
She must have listened to the podcast. That must have
knew.
been what happened.
That's how it happened. So she had cigarettes. They were about to have their last smoke and go out in a blaze of glory. And when they light up, they find the elevator to take them out onto the street.
Which, by the way, has the most fancy, rich technology trapdoor elevator.
Absolute.
That a bar would never have that.
No.
Come on.
This
was
is stuff.
Purely like.
When I went to New York a couple years ago, this is the kind of trapdoor they had there.
Actually?
Yeah, the doors would lift up, kind of like a missile silo on the sidewalk.
Whoa, I didn't know they actually did that.
The lift would come up out of the ground. They would
for
accept deliveries
inventory.
that way.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's so clever because there's no back.
Trucks would just stop in the street. It was amazing to see this kind of culture out there, that these trucks would just stop in the middle of the street and unload all right there. Wildly fascinating that they would do this. So they come up out of the ground, but I got to back up just a hair because we're missing Ed's great scene. When Ed is dying, Shaun is crying. He's sad. His buddy, his best friend, everything. And Ed is really kind of telling him, you know, you're going to be fine. Go on. And Shaun is telling him, I'm sorry for what I said. I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry that this has happened to you.
No.
And then Ed turns and says, I'm sorry, Shaun. I'm sorry too, Shaun. He
what?
Says, what for? No. I'm sorry, Shaun.
And then he smelled it.
He ripped one.
I'll stop doing it when you stop laughing.
I'm not laughing. He was crying. And of course, that was another one of those scenes where
beautiful.
The writers are not going to let you have a soft emotional moment without breaking it with a hilariously comedic moment.
Come on, farts are always funny. If you don't think farts are funny, you got to stick up your ass.
Funny. Always. Literally. Maybe that's why. So they finally get out, and then lo and behold, what happens? the government comes to save them.
Yup. You want to know? Okay. So at least in that situation, it kind of all played out already. Nothing could have changed. The government showing up didn't really change anything other than Liz and Shaun were now safe. They couldn't have saved Ed. They couldn't have saved Diane or David or
Shaun's mom.
Yeah, Shaun's mom. I think her name is Barbara, right?
Barbara.
Yeah. But there was a horror movie, which I think we should cover this one because I think it's very interesting. The Mist.
Oh, yeah.
At the very end, the guy is in a car with, I think it's 6 people, including himself, and he has a revolver with 5 bullets.
Not only himself, including his son.
Him, his kid, the girl he was with, and then an old couple. And he...
Well, it wasn't a girl he was with. It was just a girl. Everybody there other than his son.
They just happened to be there.
Were just at the store.
And they ran out of gas in the middle of this mist, and all the adults kind of looked at each other and just knew, like, this is the end. So it pans out. You see the car, and then you see 5 flashes and 5 gunshots. And then all that's left is the guy sitting there with the handgun in his hand, and because he used the 5 bullets to kill everybody else, to spare them. And then right as he's sitting there in defeat, like, I'm ready to die, I just had to kill my own son.
He gets out of the car, and he starts screaming for the monsters to come and get him. He's screaming at them, and he's hearing them in the distance. But the mist seems to be getting lighter, and you start seeing more clearly, and he's yelling and screaming for them, come and get me, come and get me. And then all of a sudden, you see a fucking government truck.
If they'd have just waited another 2 minutes...
God.
That living with that, I would just want to die. I wouldn't want to live with that. But that's awful. So this is a case in Shaun of the Dead. It's a case where that doesn't change anything else that would have happened. But man, the mist, the end of that just makes you think like, oh my God, what if he would have just waited?
Yep. So we get through the end of Shaun of the Dead. They I guess you could say Shaun and Liz did get back together, and they're kind of going on a happily ever after moment. And you start seeing on the news that the zombie apocalypse didn't really change a whole lot. Why? Because the zombies were domesticated to do mundane tasks.
The same task they were already doing.
Pushing shopping carts back. They were using the zombies to play contests.
Television shows.
They were doing television shows. They had talk shows about a woman and her husband who's a zombie.
Yeah, the woman was like, I know he's a zombie, but I still love him. And
everybody was like,
do you sleep with him?
And so, not a whole lot really changed. And then Shaun goes out into his garden, into the shed.
Oh, yeah.
And there is Zombie Ed playing a video game. And Shaun goes in and plays a video game with him. And so
Ed tries to bite him. He's like, hey, stop it. Come on, man.
And nothing changed in the end.
It was honestly great movie. I absolutely loved it. I think the comedy is so funny. They show all the emotions there. They get you feeling things that you did not go into the movie expecting to feel, and then they break it and make you laugh. It's honestly, it's cruel because you get so emotional, and then they just break it. So now you're sitting there with tears in your eyes and you're laughing, and it's just it's a great movie. It's very funny, and like I said, I do think I agree with you. I think it's the closest depiction of what an actual zombie is.
And my verdict on this, we stay put, we are secure, we have not only a few days, but days, many days of rations saved up, and the government comes in and restores order, yeah, we're fine. We definitely survive Shaun of the Dead.
As long as we don't do what they did.
Yeah.
If
we don't have their
stay
plot
put
armor.
at Liz's. We
stay put. Or if we put ourselves in that situation, we're in our apartment. We stay put. We're going to survive. We barricade our door so that nobody else gets in here. And we're okay.
So what do you think? When we're down to like 2 weeks supply of food, is that when we start scavenging?
I would say that's when we start making the plans. It would also depend on how prepared we are with the water. Like I know that there are a couple of devices that we don't have yet, but we are sure going to get them. They're filtration devices.
Oh yeah, have you heard of those straw filters?
Yep.
They say you could literally drink out of like a pond
Yep.
and get completely fresh water.
Yep. And one particular type of filter can put out over 500 gallons of water.
That's a lot of water.
And the suggestion, one person's suggestion, we'll go over this in a later episode. One person's suggestion is that you have 3 types of filtration, because 1 is none, 2 is 1, 3 is enough. So we'll go over that later. I'll do more homework and research it, and we'll get back. But I know that with Shaun of the Dead, they didn't even go through a 24-hour period. So
No. They well, I guess you could argue it was a 24-hour period because it started overnight and then it ended at night. So it was almost roughly a 24-hour period.
So we'll call it a 24-hour period. We're secure. We're secure.
We would be
here,
completely fine.
And we survive. So I would tell you all, make sure you're stocked. Make sure you're prepared. Water. You can live without food for weeks. You can't last more than a couple of days, a few days without water. So stock up. Go to that cdc.gov just for the humor of it and look at the zombie survival guide and start stocking up. You don't have to buy everything today. Just start stocking up. Buy a gallon of water.
We just grab like a couple cans every time we go to the store.
Every time you go to the store, grab a couple of cans. Your favorite stuff. Diversify. Like your portfolio. Just kidding. But I think that does it for us today. There's another episode. And
what do you think the next one's going to be?
I think maybe with all of the talk that we just did about it, I think we should check out Resident Evil.
I was thinking that or World War Z because we've made so many World War Z references.
We do love World War Z. So you know what? How about
this? It'll either be World War Z or Resident Evil. You'll find out.
It'll either be one or the other. We're gonna do one.
It'll be one of those two, either Resident Evil 1 or World War Z. We might just tackle World War Z so we could hit Resident Evil in a series.
Yeah, because that's a fantastic series.
That's a whole series. Yeah, there's so many of those movies.
But that'll do it for us this time. Make sure you guys are stocked up, prepared. Get ready for anything. It won't take a real zombie apocalypse to test your livelihood and to test your ability to survive. So get your water, get your canned goods, have your exit plans, have your fire plans, have your flood plans, your earthquake plans. Always be ready for anything. And the next time we meet you, we'll go over some new survival tips and some other will you survive matters.